If you want to get shit done, do not paint your home office these colors. I got 5 horrible paint color options for your home office, but don't worry, I also got 5 much better options. All of the colors we're talking about today are from the same company, Benjamin Moore. And not only that, all of them are best-selling colors, even the crappy ones. So let's get into it. I think one color we can all say goodbye to, at least to some degree, is gray. Gray has never been a color that really sparked my curiosity. It's great in its own way, but in an office, not very exciting. A color like gray owl is one of the last colors that I recommend in a home office. It's a beautiful color. It is advertised as a use anywhere color, but when you're trying to really get stuff done and you're really slogging it and just trying to stay motivated, by looking at gray walls, you feel like you're in a prison cell, okay? I would much rather inject some color into that gray base by going with something like Palladian blue. This color has blue in it, it's in the name, but it also has a touch of green to help keep it warmer and a little more vibrant for a blue specifically. It's also desaturated, so it's not too vibrant, it's not going to be distracting, but it has this calming presence to it. So instead of going with just a plain old gray, go with a slightly toned down blue, gray, green like this. Much more exciting. What's almost as bad as gray for your home office? White. And ironically, this is a color I see all over online. All these really nice modern office setups, they're just white. It's just white walls, maybe a really nice teak wood desk or something. So the color that I would never put in a home office, and in a lot of places, is Chantilly lace. So this is the brightest white that Benjamin Moore makes, which is why it's popular. People want white. Well, you're not getting whiter than this. It's really, really bright and fluorescent. But dare I say, you don't want to be blinded by the light while you're working 8 hours a day in your home office, okay? This isn't going to feel like you're floating in the clouds. It's going to feel like you're inside an actual light bulb. So not a huge fan. But if you did want something like that, you do like a color that's brighter and you like that airy feel that a white can give you, why not go for something like Swiss coffee, which is almost as bright, but what's great about it is it feels a bit softer with some warmth, which is always good, nice and cozy and homey. It's a home office, not an office, and it just feels a touch toned down too. I feel like it's a much better compromise. It's gonna feel more alive in a home office setting. This next color is a favorite of mine for exteriors, but not for a home office. It's yellow and it's hawthorn yellow. Hawthorn yellow is actually a beautiful color that I really like. But the problem is yellow in general is just too invigorating, too energetic. Your eyes will get tired looking at it, which means you're going to want to leave that room as soon as possible. But guess what? You got work to do, right? So not ideal. But I do get that some people want that energetic warmth, but maybe to a more toned down degree. Well, instead of yellow, you just go cream. A color like rich cream, for example. It'll give you a similar effect, that similar kind of aura or glow that the warm colors can give you. But the fact that it doesn't have a ton of yellow in your face, it's more of a soft sort of peachy warmth. Kind of looks like custard to me. So it's a much more manageable color in general. If I had to use hawthorn yellow in my office, I'd probably put it behind me so I wouldn't have to look at it while I'm working. So instead of yellow, maybe go cream. You want to know another awful office color? Black. I mean, you won't be able to see anything while you're doing your work. A color like soot is probably not a desirable paint color for your office. I do think there is something to darker spaces, especially if you have a lot of lighting to compensate for that. The problem is black just doesn't really have a lot going for it undertone wise. It's sort of dead in the water, kind of like gray. A much more preferable solution for me is get a color that's nearly as dark, but is a color like salamander. This is a color that is beautiful. It's a blackened teal, so it combines black with green and a little bit of blue. So you have a lot of nuance and you're still getting that same effect that people maybe gravitate towards with those darker blackened or navy blue rooms, but you have color there which can stimulate the creative juices, get them flowing, which I think is very important. Now, a color that I'm really fond of, but I would never use in a home office is red. I like red. I like it in small doses. But red is so passionate and vibrant as a color. It's just way too much in a space where I'm spending a lot of my time in. Caliente is one of my favorite colors by Benjamin Moore, one of my favorite reds of all time, but it just is way too stimulating and engaging. It's going to distract you way too much in your home office. So instead of red, why don't you go with light red, head over heels? This is a color that is essentially a light pink. Very different direction, a little more millennial, a little more Instagram kind of vibe, but it does have that bit of red just as an undertone rather than being in your face. It'll be for a very niche clientele, but I think it's an amazing color if you were looking for something that's an off-white that's maybe a little different. Maybe you're a little bit different. I know I am. Also, if you're in the process of designing and putting together your home office setup, this is my de facto video on my top 5 tips on how to put together the perfect home office. because I think it's really important that you get this right.